Events give pearls, and after you have 40 pearls, you can craft a 5-star gem. But what 5-star gem should you craft, especially if you're free to play or if it's your first 5-star gem? And what 2-star gems are good and what 1-star gems are good? Today in this video, I'm going to bring on my good friend Tiny Penny, and we are going to discuss all of the gems, their potential, and which ones you should be using. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are brought in part by Tiny Penny, who is on the channel, and we will have a link down to his channel down below in the pinned comment as well as the description. How are you doing today, Tiny Penny?
Not too bad, not too bad.
So we're going to be bringing you on to give your opinion and discuss a little bit about the pearls. Now, I myself have enough pearls to do a crafting, and we have some new gems. So I thought it'd be a good time to talk about which of these pearls out of all of the, or which of these gems, I should say, with your pearls out of all of these options are the ones that you would recommend for the average person. Let's say we'll talk about free to play first, and then we'll talk about people that are spending money. So let's start with the free to play people. Now, let's say you save up and you get your 40 pearls over doing your events, overtime, etc. Now you have your 40 pearls. And let's say it's your first 5-star gem. Let's say you've been using 2-star gems and it's your first 5-star gem. Now, what would you recommend right off the bat? What would you recommend somebody to craft with your pearls? What do you think the number one is?
I think the number one that overall pretty much helps all classes besides your standard Seeping Bile, Blood Soak that are the hardest gems to level up just because they're worth would probably be Bottled Hope.
So the Bottled Hope is the one that when you use a skill that grants a buff, you increase the damage and movement speed of the target by a certain percentage. And would you put the Bottled Hope up there? Sort of the lower ranks, would you think that it's as viable at the lower ranks as it is at the higher ranks?
I think it is just for the fact there's so many, at least playing with my lower res account and seeing what they do in BGs, because they clearly play different than the legend bracket with certain skills that they use. But anything like the fact that it gives you more movement speed, it gives a buff. You still see a lot of barbs. You see a lot of monks out there and wizards that the fact that it's something simple and easy to get, and it's not the most expensive gem. If you're just the average player, just doing your daily, selling platinum, selling gems, or to make your platinum, it's something that's reasonably affordable to get off the market. It's not always set at the top amount to buy one if you need to get one. And
that's a good point. Because I was thinking I was thinking for myself, I was thinking, well, maybe a Seeping Bile. A Seeping Bile increases the damage. It's got the nice AoE. I've used Seeping Bile quite a bit, but, you know, the Seeping Bile is pretty much always the max price point. I've also seen the other one being recommended, the Blood Soaked Jade, as well, but it kind of has the same problem where it always sells at the max price from the trader there. So my question to you is, if you couldn't have Bottled Hope, give me like your top three. I was thinking Seeping Bile, Blood Soaked. Do you think those would be two other good options, or is there, what other ones would you recommend?
I definitely think Blood Soaked is definitely another top option, because just from my ability of running crests, I've always gotten, it seems like I get plenty of Bottled Hope, Blessing, Seeping, but it always seems like Blood Soaks are always few and far between. And then obviously they're always being sold for top dollar on the market, that if you needed to get one, we have somebody in our clan currently that's what he planned on doing to help further pursue him leveling his Blood Soaked, as he wanted to save pearls in order to do 5 runs. So he could actually just turn in all his pearls to get the 5 Blood Soaks that he does need. Because he is a lower spender, he is a 3K player, but that was one of his ideas of doing. He didn't want to just do them one at a time. He wanted to do them in bulk, and he was willing to wait.
Do you think there is any advantage to saving all your pearls for a long period of time? Let's say you save your pearls and they come out with a new gem, then you craft all the new ones at the same time. Is that seem to be the meta of what you're doing, or how do you handle yours?
So originally I was still leveling one of the newer gems that did come out, and I was using the pearl. Like, I was going after the latest 5-star before this update. So I had ranked my Hellfire to 6, and I'm actually just 1 away from getting it to 7. And then this new one came out that seemed like it was going to be OP for pretty much any melee attack. So I was like, oh man, I'm going to have to start the whole process over again.
Which of these
But
would
that's
you
what I've
not
been using.
recommend? Like if you had to tell, let's say more specifically the lower spinners and the free to play, which of these are you telling them like I probably wouldn't use this one?
For low spenders, I probably wouldn't go after Swenson, just because if you're not putting out you have to, it procs every time you get a kill. That if you're not constantly able to kill anything, you're just using res off of gem power. That I personally think this is one of the ones that people are give and take whether or not they want a Swenson to fill their 6 gem slot, like Swenson, Howlers, Echoing. There's always, you have that option for that 6 gem that you want to fulfill your. And if I could do it over again after playing all the 5 classes I've played now, I definitely probably would have went either Echoing or Howlers over Swenson.
No, I feel you on that. Zwinson was one of the cheaper options, so I ended up having to build that back when I was going for the 3,000 resonance. So Zwinson's for me was the option I went when it was the cheapest out of all of them. But I guess if we have Puros, and you can basically make any of these, going for the very cheapest one would only be useful if you're welling out maybe in like the marketplace. But other than that, you're kind of losing some value. I'm assuming you wouldn't recommend anyone go for things like Phoenix Ashes, Frozen Heart. You're probably looking for more damage type of gems.
If you're trying to eventually pursue being the heavy hitter, I have seen a lot of lower res players that are only running with like rank 3 and rank 4 maybe on the high end for the Frozen. That seems very effective for the lower classes versus the legend bracket. They're either got a full 10 or they're not running it at all, or they're running a full Phoenix. And Phoenix is personally, I think, making a comeback. Like originally you saw a lot of people using it and then it got dropped off. But for low level, I wouldn't recommend Phoenix just because that cooldown is so long and the amount it protects you for is just not worth it.
And when it comes to crafting the 2 stars, do you have 2 stars that you highly prefer over the other? I've been trying Pain Clasp, for instance. I maxed that one out. I really like Pain Clasp, but
the 2 star, I've been loving all the 2 stars that have been coming out. I've slowly been leveling them all up. Like I just got my Curseling to 10 and was having fun with that, and I've even built gems inside of it. But I was a fan ever since like Abiding Curse came out. Like all these new gems were coming out. I've always been a fan of the 2 stars. Loved them when I was a low-level Necro. And the fact that when they did do the conversion rate to be able to craft all these extras and turn in all this extra ASTs and the new conversion system, having that ability to just craft, and you can almost, other than you hurting for gem dust, you could get all the duplicates you need to pretty much get a 2 out of 10 or rank a 2 star up to rank 10. And I've been loving these new ones that have been coming out. Like I've been working towards the Pain Clasp.
Pain Clasp is good.
The continual damage effect is nice. The fact that the Curseling blinds and stuns enemies, like, or that
it procs the chip of the stone flesh, doesn't it? They work together.
Yeah, there's like so many hidden things with these 2-star gems. Like Power and Command's always been a good one in my book. I've liked the Hungerer, but I did do a lot of testing with the Hungerer, and it kind of fell on my lower list of favorites just because it seemed like it interacted more in PvE versus PvP.
Sure.
But then again, when I was doing all the testing, I was testing it against whales.
Sure. How about 1 star then? Do you have any favorite 1 stars? Like for me, I like Blessed Pebble is probably my favorite 1 star.
Yes, I do agree with you on the Pebble. I've maxed out the Pebble numerous amounts of times. Yeah. I did. I think I actually still have one in my inventory. Yep. And I just started dabbling around with the Hearthstone as well. It gives you another shield. Now, it is a smaller shield, but I just wanted to test different things that would give you shields. And
I
also
tried that
the
one
fact
as
that
well.
when it's maxed up, that duration of loss of control.
I wasn't terribly impressed with it. I feel like maybe I didn't have enough HP to really, utilize how big the shields were, but I wasn't terribly impressed with my experience with the Hearthstone. I don't know if you had better experience than I did on that one.
No, because that's where I typically want to see if I can do it with my alt. Like, clearly I have one here on my main, but
Sure.
with my alt pretty much being completely free to play, it's a little hard, especially when you're going, all right, well, I already have 4 that are awakened. What do I want? I'd have to take one of these 2 stars off to even try and have the gem dust to be able to craft one.
So what we have for the 5 stars then is you're pretty much recommending like Bottled Hope, Blood Soaked. It sounded like the 2 that you were mostly fans of for crafting of the 5-star. And then for the 2-star, you're saying, Curse Sling, Pain Class, maybe Bloody Reach. Like it seems like there's a few of these power and command that you actually quite like within the 2-star. And then the 1-star is like Pebble. Do you have and then you mentioned the Heartstone, but do you have one more 1-star that you're a fan of? Like how about Berserker's Eye? That seems to be a common one.
Berserker, I've always been on the fence. Like I like Berserker's Eye, but it also increases your damage. Sure. I did like the aspect of the Carson's Invigoration.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was one of 2 ways to always get it. It always seemed to be the easiest one to level up, and it increases your primary attack speed. So,
yeah, that's pretty nice. You compare that with Hungerer, I suppose.
Yeah, and when I had first leveled this up on my alt was a DH, and it was awesome. Like, I was really happy that I pursued that. The fact you get one from the Hilts trader was nice. So it was just free income coming into your account.
Okay, and if you
all you had to do was dailies.
All right, and if you had any, as far as since we're talking about gems here, might as well cover normal gems real fast. When it comes to normal gems, there's not too much I feel like I can always recommend people. It kind of seems like you just have to farm your hidden layers, you have to purchase them. There's not too much to it other than doing your dailies, etc. Do you have any tips or things you wish people knew, or anything you want to share about normal gems?
Yeah, one thing I've noticed, at least since the update, if you're in a big clan, take advantage of the tower and running a party of 4. Like, other than, like you said, running your daily, let me get my dungeons knocked out, let me open world farm or do a hidden layer here or there. Like, if you're just going to open world farm, you don't care about the bestiary pages, and you own a tower, like, I felt like the gem drops were just way higher being in a tower.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a correlation to the elites you kill have a higher drop rate of gems, because there do seem to be a significant amount of elites within the tower. And I feel bad for people that aren't doing the PvE in the tower, because I feel like the PvE in the tower is going to be interesting. And we have one of our PvP matches here today. But okay, so I think that wraps up the gems and that conversation. Hopefully should help some people that are debating on what gems to focus on. Do you have anything you want to plug here at the end of the video?
It's all I gotta say is whatever you want to do with your goal, you gotta have your goals in the game, right? And whether you want to be a low spender, high spender, you got to figure that out for yourself, and then figure out what path you want to go down. Whether it's, I just want to enjoy the residence with the pursuing high level gems, or I want to make an effective build, finding the best gems that work for me. And that's what I've done since the launch of the game, is figured out what gems work best for my character, and then eventually just stuck with, once I became that whale of, all right, I'm not really pursuing to change something that would optimize the character more because it just costs too much. So
that makes sense. Synergy. If you have a primary attack person, build, primary attack moves. If you're doing a dot-based person, maybe get a seeping bow, etc. Okay. I feel you. Yeah. Well, thank you, Tiny Penny. We'll have a link down below to check out Tiny Penny. He makes content as well, guides, all of the information. We'll have that all linked down. And have a wonderful day, everybody.